just delighted we got the win, and whether we got a goal in the 7th minute or the last, a goal's a goal, so just delighted we won.
Karen's a special talent. Like she's been there for the last few years now, and she got Young Player of the Year down at the All-Stars maybe 3 or 4 years ago. She's an absolutely fantastic player, and maybe she doesn't get the recognition that she's owed, but today she scored the goal when it was vital and when we needed it, and that gave us that margin to get in front.
Yeah, congratulations to Derry. Cyril was at the game, said it was a great game and a big win for them. Well, still to come, our man of the match and our 2012 team of the year. Time for a break now, and we'll head there by looking at 6 of the best goals from this season's hurling championship.
Here comes David Burke. Sending it across, they're queuing up Hayes. Oh, what a goal! Colin Fennelly. Here's Shefflin. Back in the net.
It's a little scoop and over the keeper.
Reid in a mesmerising run here. Off he goes to Richie Power. Power. Reid. Goal.
Ball inside. Borrows David Burke. What can he do? He can score. Magnificent goal. Wow.
James Regan here trying to get it up onto his stick. Pursued by Brian Hogan. It's Regan off as far as Canning. Looking for latitude. He's made a lot of ground. He's scored a wonderful goal. How did he do that?
Well, with the hurling season at an end, we've asked our panel to pick their own personal favourite moment of the year. And Eddie, we're going to start with you. What stood out for you?
I suppose it's more of a comical, maybe bordering on bizarre moment of the year, but I think we've seen in the semi-final with Tip and Kilkenny the situation with Lara Corbett and the boys marking them. I think this is not reflective of Jackie Taylor, Tommy Welch. I mean, they were clearly given their men to mark for the day, but to see a forward run around after a back, you could understand maybe trying it out or something like that at the start to maybe stop a player playing well, but to see this going on for an entire match, I suppose it just beggars belief, really. I've never seen anything like it in my time, but I suppose it reminds me a bit of Micheál O'Hertig's famous quote about a rabbit chasing a fox, Yeah. But I think, look, I was there at this, and the crowd were even laughing at it, and I suppose it's something, unfortunately, for Tipperary, it's something they have to take on the chin this year. It was just a ridiculous thing, really, and the fact that it stayed going for an entire match made it all the more bizarre.
All right. Cyril, your moment, you've gone for one of the goals of the year.
Probably one of the goals of the year. It was a brilliant goal, like in the first All-Ireland final, a goal by Joe Cannon, set up by young James Reid. He pops a pass here, like Joe's the trouble actor. He actually beats 5 players, gets onto his left side, and he gives David Herity no chance to goal. It's one of these moments. Young Regan pops the pass here. Now Joe beats 5, goes across, maybe a little rattle here across, keeps balance and sticks in the back net. A full flow there, maybe not as good today, but that's the fortunes of war. But on song, he's unbelievable.
That was a great goal. And Donal, are you going to surprise us and go for the forward with a bit of skill, or
Cyril and Eddie were picking out the skillful part of the game. Maybe I went for we talk a lot about tackling and the intensity of tackling, but this does go with me. I think Connolly Han go down the wing here for in the Cork semi-final, and Fergalmore hits him a fantastic shoulder, knocks the ball away at the same time out over the line, and I think that to me is what every defender should aspire to. Great side to side and beautiful flick at the same time. And Michael Fennelly had chased Andy Smith the full length of the pitch. They almost flicked the ball away from him. And that's highly skillful, and you have to put as much time into that as you have to put into your first touch. And I think Galway winning the Leinster final, of course, was a big highlight as well. The first Leinster final win, and it really set up the championship, I think, Des.
Okay. All right then, one of our big talking points now is time to name our Sunday game Team of the Year for 2012. Now, Eddie, I'm going to ask you to kick it off, and I'll make notes as we go along. Your decision for goalkeeper?
Yeah, first fellow we went for in the goal was Anthony Nash. There wasn't a huge amount of standout candidates this year. A lot of them at different stages. Maybe Brendan Cummins, David Herty, James Scahill. But we went for Anthony Nash. I think he scored a goal this year. He scored a couple of points. And particularly in the semi-final, I think he brought up a couple of great saves, which kept Cork in the match. But for all in all, for us, just gets the nod.
All right then, so Anthony Nash, one up for Cork. We move on to the full back line, Cyril, and number 2.
Yeah, number 2, Paul Murphy. Came in last year from Kilkenny, made it his own last year and has really stepped up to it. Second season can be very hard from the Danesford club, and Kilkenny have had great backs, but this fella has been a colossal all year. Every game he's never had a bad game this year. The bigger the opposition he seems to be playing, the better he plays, and has made it his own as a standout candidate for this position. All right then, and at full back? Well, again, JJ Delaney, he started his career left wing back and kind of plays left and top. Very hard, unorthodox, but very, very effective. He's had to mandate the spear, nothing given, nothing taken. Great in the air and always well able to read a game. Was up against good opposition, but to me, there was only one standout. He was the really standout player for this. Made it his own the way he was able to play, especially in the big games.
He's been a key man there, Eddie, hasn't he?
He has. A phenomenal player for me. Probably the one of the best I've ever seen. Spent a lot of time on him in training. Could never get the better of him.
And what is it? Is it his reading of the game, or
he just hurls with his brain all the time? I think it's clever stuff all the time. He just, it's simple. There's nothing flamboyant. Great paw on him. I think we see him in an All-Ireland 2008 nearly take a ball out of Dan Shanahan's mouth. So, but great player.
Okay. Left corner back then, sir.
Yeah, when you went for a new kid in the block here, Johnny Cohen, from Loughrea Club, very, very fast, great to read the play. For Galway all year, he's been kind of the link man, getting the ball off the full back line, carrying it out and popping the pass outside. Wasn't effective today now because Walter Welsh was very strong on him. And I suppose along that line, you'd have to say that Fergal Moore and Jackie Turr were the two that were in there with big chances, but we went for Johnny Cohen.
All right then, so Paul Murphy, JJ Delaney and Johnny Cohen then make up our full back line. Let's go to the half back line then, and right half back, Donald.
Yeah, Des, we went for Brendan Bugler of Clare. Normally when you go to the selection of Player of the Year, it is somebody who's reached the semi-finals or the finals at Croke Park. But Bugler was outstanding with Clare in the championship match they had. Gave great leadership in the big matches that they had against Dublin and Limerick. And there was a lot of competition, but there was no standout candidate. So we went for Bugler in the end.
Will that be seen as a bit of a surprise one?
It probably is, because people would normally say Tommy Welch and we'll say David Collins of Galway were there or thereabouts, but I don't think they raised their games to the same heights as they have in previous years. So that's why we made that selection.
All right, centre half back then, number 6.
Well, centre half back, I think there was a standout candidate, Brian Hogan, and he stood head and shoulders over everybody as such, and he had a great year against Kilkenny. Injured for a few games, but really he showed up the second half against Galway the last day, and again all through the day. The first class centre back.
Okay, he was stand out again, sir, for you?
Yeah, well, he's a brilliant player, and you can play him anywhere. Today, if you notice, there's in the match you picked up Joe Cannon. He's very, very good in there. Always goes with his left hand on top, and he can play equally as well at full back. And he's very, 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 very effective. And when he's missing for Kilkenny, he's terrible loss. But when he's playing on song, it's very hard to get down the middle. Today, he just blocked all avenues down there.
All right then, left half back then.
We went for Kevin Moran of Waterford. Days, he's had a very good year last year and a very good year today. Alternated between left half back and midfield. But I suppose there was other contenders as well. Niall Donoghue from Galway, apart from the day, played very, very well. And you could say Kieran Joyce of Kilkenny as well. But we went for Kevin Moran.
Okay, that's our half back line. Then Brendan Bugler, Brian Hogan, and Kevin Moran. Good spread of counties as we go along. We'll move on to midfield then. Cyril, you'll.
Yeah, Ireland, we went for the Ireland because a very good season. You play McGaw used to be wing forward, centre forward, but this year they put him up midfield. Very, very effective all through. Maybe not as effective today, but from the Ardrahan club, big forceful hurler, very good, very strong, great to the off the ball. Usually good to pick a few points, but he's able to use his body and has kind of made it his own. And he's one of the characters of that team. Stands about 6'4", and does a lot of hard graft, hard tackling, lets his body do the talking as well, and is willing to take a hard belt. But this year has been a fantastic year for him.
It was a kind of a key switch for the development of that Galway team.
earlier in the year he'd have been predominantly noted as a forward, but I think this year for the Dublin matches they shoved him out to midfield, and he just kicked on from there, and he was vital to Galway all through the year.
Brings a presence. Okay, then. Well, you've gone for another big fella at midfield. So.
Yeah, I suppose an unusual choice in the sense win for Park Cronin. Had a great year for Cork. Can play him centre forward, wing forward, midfield. Again, left and the top. Very, very good in the air and great to get scores. And he's kind of led a Cork team, kind of a resurgent Cork team coming from kind of say at the bottom really. Playing the club Bishopstown in the county final thing next Sunday. Very, very good in the air. Good going forward. And Michael Finlay and these lads midfield and Andy Smith will be fighting for position. We just felt that he had a great year this year, even though Cork didn't win any big titles as such.
Yeah, okay then. On to the half-forward line then, Eddie, is your neck of the woods, right half-forward?
First position, David Burke of Galway, had a great year. Again, another fella that was switched out of midfield, would have been seen as a big midfielder for them, switched into the forwards again around the relegation final and made a huge difference. Created a lot, worked an awful lot, scored a couple of important goals as well. He scored, against Kilkenny the Leinster final and 2 more again today. I suppose the disappointments there, maybe Owen Larkin, Richie Power, compared to other years, James Dowling as well from Limerick, I suppose, got a mention, but I think he was the obvious choice there.
All right, then, if we go to centre forward. Yeah,
centre forward went to TJ Reid. A fella that's been part and parcel of the Kilkenny setup for a while now. I think this year, I suppose, was landmark for him. He really developed into a real top-class player. I think he brought a lot of work rate, scored a lot of important goals for Kilkenny during the year. And even today, his graft was very good today. So, an important player for Kilkenny. John Conlon, Seamus Pendergast, another good year for Seamus as well, one of the older lads. And I suppose Niall Burke from Galway were the other honourable mentions.
Okay. And left half-forward?
This was probably a hard one, but Pa Burke from Tip just about got the nod. I suppose Cyril Donlan and Aidan Fogarty, it was maybe a flick of a coin between the three of them. Aidan Fogarty unfortunately lost out today, but for us, Pa Burke was probably the one Tipperary player this year. He took over the freeze, confidence player, and I think the management gave him a vote of confidence and he had a very good year.
Yeah, might we have expected more Tip players in it at this stage so far?
Well, I suppose that you could make an argument for maybe Patrick Bonamar, but he didn't come up in the semi-final to the same levels that he was playing in Munster, and there was another few players. Conor Manning played some good matches, but consistency I think was a problem, and particularly we'd say with the semi-final they didn't put up the Kilkenny, and Pa Burke I think justifies his position, but I think that they can have no cribs with only having one on it.
You take us through the full forward line then, Donald.
Yeah, well, right corner forward, we picked John Milan of Waterford, and he alternated between the right corner and right half forward. But really, he was Waterford's main go-to man, right? And if we talked about Henry Shefflin dragging Kilkenny by the bootstraps in the drawing game, he had to drag Waterford through with the bootstraps in all the matches they played, and a phenomenal player, right? And we say that there was other contenders, Damien Hayes maybe of Galway, Graham Mulcahy of Limerick, you could say maybe Shane Dowling of Offaly, but I think John Milan justifiably gets the nod.
Because he missed a good bit of the league, Cyril, but when he comes back to the championship, he brings an energy, doesn't he?
He brings an energy to the team and to the supporters. And I think next year, if Waterford are going to go anywhere, to me that they're in transition, they need John Milan probably as captain to lead the team. Give him the full, let them lead this team, because he is their standout player, and like Donald says, when the need scores, he gets them, or he excites the whole crowd, he draws the freeze on them. Might be many more years left in him, but if he's made captain, I think he could have a great year again next season.
Colin Fennelly is another lad to lose out as well, and show me bias now.
Yeah, he was having. You'd have to say he was having a great year, up to the drawing game. But that just shows the type of competition we have for the inside forward line.
Sure. Full forward then, Donald.
Well, he's the standout candidate, Joe Canning.